wanted to share something personal. It's really important that I share this because I need you to see where I'm coming from. So, you might have heard me say this, how I recently got my cycle back after a long break postpartum, right? There was pregnancy and then with nursing. I actually never went this long. There were a few things that were different. I can go into that another time. But it's not guaranteed. It's just my body did what it did and I'm grateful. But what I've been going through as my cycle returned was a really, really big transformation. I mean, you've seen some of like the rebirth of my creativity and some of the changes that have been going on here. It definitely is so connected, like creativity and cycles and fertility, like they're all intertwined. But what I want to share today, and this has been having a really big impact on me, was that throughout this whole time, as I was not really experiencing my cycles as much and not really being Niddah that much, right? Except for those weeks postpartum, which is a whole experience on its own, which we'll definitely talk about. But through that time, I was also training. I took a college teacher training with Rachel Goldbaum, which was absolutely incredible, and been doing a lot of my own work. And the years before, right, this whole cycle, reclaiming womanhood through our cycle, through the Taharas HaMishpacha process, through the cycle awareness process, through fertility awareness, like all these things really intertwined for me a lot. And that's been years in the works. So through this, like this just gave me a whole different perspective and a whole different experience. And now coming back to it after such a long time. So it's a whole different experience. I used to really struggle a lot. It used to be really hard. I blamed myself for being Niddah. I was resentful at the whole process. I didn't understand it. I definitely didn't want to be in that place. I felt isolated. I felt punished. Like it really was hard to deal with. And what started happening as I was learning more about the cycle, so this was years ago, I started like really understanding my cycle better, appreciating my period better, because along with it, was really, I just don't like my period. But of course, I minded it so much more because of everything it brought on in the marriage relationship. Like that was just a punishment on top of a punishment in my mind, right? And I'm sure many of you can relate. So as I started learning more about what the cycle really is about and what menstruation is about and the potency of the stage and what it actually holds. And then obviously with my own experience as a Jewish woman practicing Taharas HaMishpacha, it was inextricable from the Taharas HaMishpacha process, because automatically I was also working through this with Niddah and Mikvah and all the different things involved. And it started shifting so much as I was more aware of my own cyclical patterns, what I actually need when I'm in the menstrual phase, what the Niddah phase actually provides, and how they're so aligned, and what these different energies of life and death and light and dark and the different emotions that come up and what it holds space for. The cycle really is this huge container of like all encompassing, including everything, holding the full picture of life, holding the full expression of who we are. And it gave me so much. I cannot begin to explain to you the transformation. So now I really started experiencing it so much more because it was a long time. It's been a long time. And I started seeing how this transformation really, really, really is so ingrained in me. It did so much for me. And of course, there's something to say about having a long break, which definitely, was a big part of how I'm experiencing Niddah in the last few cycles. But even so, like having this knowledge of what Niddah actually holds, what are the secrets that we don't even, we don't talk about it a lot. We don't talk about it at all. I mean, I barely hear this conversation. Like when I'm a college teacher, right? I hear these conversations a lot, and I hear people having these conversations, and it's about Taharas HaMishpacha and about Mikvah and about that being the whole point. And I hear that because it really, essentially it is this journey towards Tahara. That's the whole process. But what is in it through the waiting stage? What is in it through that descent into Niddah, into menstruation, into this whole cycle that we have as women, that we travel through these different states of being, right? That we're so we have so many different angles of ourselves, so many different experiences of life, so many different ways of relating in relationship. And of course, this comparison that I brought up yesterday about the Shekhinah and how we connect to Hashem, and the whole Jewish perspective of it, because literally the marriage relationship is that microcosm, is that analogy of the bigger relationship, which we're going to talk about as well. There's so much of this knowledge has helped me reclaim this in the truest sense. And in creating this workshop, The Secrets of Niddah, I literally brought together everything I learned from my own experience, as well as, of course, bringing together the teachings and wisdom that I've picked up from my trainings as well. But it's the ultimate combination. It's like literally everything I needed and everything I worked through myself, and I want to offer that to you, so you don't have to like go through all that struggle yourself. And ultimately, I'm bringing it back to 3 concepts. So there's 3 concepts or angles to Niddah that we're going to explore. The first one is, like I started bringing to your attention yesterday, the comparison of feeling the Shekhinah's pain in exile, how we actually have a real life experience of what this bigger picture really is, what redemption is and what it will be, and what exile actually is all about, and what we actually have in this time. It's not about just waiting to get there, or waiting like when Mashiach comes everything will be amazing. It's what it that for sure, but what is actually here for us right now. So it's twofold. That's why I'm doing it in the 9 days. We get, you know, the knowledge for our own Niddah phase, and we also get inspiration for this time of year, which I know can be a struggle. It can be hard to, you know, be in these 3 weeks because it's not comfortable all the time. It's more like the darker feelings, the harder feelings that come up. And then another point is that without darkness, there's no light, right? Like the contrast, the polarity is what makes the full picture. And we can't really have the whole Tahara process, the whole reunion is from the separation, right? The whole like light comes from the dark. The day comes after the night. We experience light because we've known darkness. So the contrast is really what is giving us the full picture and the full appreciation. And I know we look at dark as negative, and we look at all this as negative, but what is that really? What is it really for us, and how can we actually experience it in an empowering way? And the last but not least, the third concept that we're going to explore is the alignment with nature, how Taharas Mishpacha is actually, we know that from Jewish sources, the way the world was created is God looked into the Torah and thus created the world. So if the Torah talks about Taharas Mishpacha and this being the ultimate fabric of a Jewish relationship, a Jewish marriage, then nature will obviously align with that in many ways. So we explore that. We explore our cyclical nature and how it aligns with Taharas Mishpacha. We explore male and female nature and how it aligns with Taharas Mishpacha, the nature of relationship. We speak about the nature of forbidden fruit and how that's more tempting, and how this plays into the Taharas Mishpacha dynamic. There's so much more. We're also going to talk about postpartum, miscarriage, all the different ways that we can become Niddah that will obviously have so many different things associated with it that can make it more of a struggle, can make it harder in different ways. And we're going to talk about all that. This workshop literally covers it all. We talk about what comes up with Niddah. We talk about how we can actually work with it and be empowered through this stage with whatever comes up. So that's why I created the workshop. I really see the need. I really see with the people that I worked with, so much of it, we came back to Taharas Mishpacha, and that being the answer of really empowering them through their cycles. We literally, as Jewish women, we can't separate cycle wisdom, cycle empowerment, cycle awareness from Taharas Mishpacha. This is why I bring the two together. This is why this is my work. Like, I took all these different trainings and explored all these different angles because I really want to bring this together, to have the full package, the full experience for the Jewish woman. So this workshop is going to be in the 9 days. It's on August 7. I'm making it during the day so that I can accommodate different time zones, but it will be recorded. So you have it for 30 days, for 1 month. And Tisha B'Av, we're all looking for things to watch or to be inspired on that day. This will be perfect if you can't watch it live, to watch the recording on Tisha B'Av and really feel that chizuk, feel that empowerment of this whole process of mourning the destruction of the temple of Beis Mikdash, and also being empowered as a Jewish woman who has this Niddah process and literally experiences it in our body.